So here we are at station number 7, and this is where we want to talk a little bit about the different varieties that we grow here at the farm. And as you take a walk through the alleyways, see if you can observe some of these differences. We've already talked about flowering times, and now we're going to talk about a few other features which make this vast number of varieties difficult to manage as a fruit grower. So if you look left, you'll see a very different looking tree in the next row, and this is different in that it holds those flowers at the end of the branches, and this is called a tip bearer. This variety in particular is a really interesting one called Cornish Gilliflower, and as you can see when we look closely, all the flowers reside at the end of long branches. We need to prune this in a different way, so we want to maintain these long bits of wood. As soon as we make a cut in a branch, it means that there's no apples for the following year, so we have to pick and choose what we cut very wisely. Whereas the majority, and you'll see in that far row and the row that you're walking along, the majority of varieties are called spur bearers, where at multiple points along the branch you'll have the clusters of flowers, and you'll see apples throughout that tree. And these we can prune a lot more heavily, keeping them nice and tidy and compact. As we walk down, we'll see if we can notice a few other changes. So just to the right here, you can see that we've got a reasonable amount of flower on this tree, and as soon as we start to move along, we're looking at no flowers at all on the same variety of tree. And this is what we call a biennial characteristic of a tree. So one year it will crop nicely and heavily, and the next year it won't crop at all. And this is the tree's natural way of trying to reserve energy and ready to go again the following year. We can manage this better by ensuring we thin the crop in the summer, and reducing its load one year, in the hope that it will provide another crop the following year. But some varieties are just more susceptible to that characteristic. We'll carry on our walk and see if we can spot any other features. So here we are on this tree. So some varieties are quite susceptible to a disease called canker, and you can start to see these leaves wilting and flowers wilting. And as we travel up that branch, we'll find a point just here, which is a canker lesion. So canker essentially stops the tree's ability to pass any moisture or nutrients past that point. So you can see further up that branch we've got nice healthy leaves and flowers, and then as you come down, they're starting to wilt. So a disease we see particularly in Gala, so one variety susceptible to it. I believe we're here in Kids Orange again, and again Cornish Gilliflower just over the way is a little bit susceptible. The way we manage this is purely by pruning out the canker lesions. So we would ensure, again here's another example, we'd ensure we'd cut well before that canker lesion. If we cut too near it, we may contaminate our pruners and pass it on to the next branch and the next tree, and so on. In some farms, particularly the super farms down in Kent, as soon as canker gets hold within an orchard, it spreads from tree to tree, and you end up having vast pockets within that orchard which are completely decimated by canker. Particularly on a smaller rootstock called M9, because not only does it affect the branch, but it affects the trunk as well, and as soon as the trunk is affected, you're in trouble.